Adam, congratulations. 100 Notts County appearances. How proud are you of that fact?
Very proud, and probably the main reason is because at Milton Keynes Dons, where I first started out, I got to 99, and it was sort of when I left. Obviously, it's a great feeling to go to another club, leaving obviously because you're leaving on performance-wise, but it still hurt because it's like an unfinished sort of landmark where you would like to get to, but to do it obviously with Notts, obviously with how my time's been here, it feels like even a bit more special, and it just means a lot to me.
It's not all been plain sailing for you at Notts,
No.
and I think it's probably best if you describe it in your own words. But let's obviously start right at the start in that first season. What are your reflections on that?
It was a tough time for me. I would say I had problems at home, which was tough, and then obviously mentally as well. So I don't shy away from that side of it. I think it was hard for me. At the time, I've probably found myself depressed, which I'm not ashamed to talk about. It was a tough period for me. You go from heights of being signed by Brighton, you have from playing from probably 16, and then going to the heights and seeing, jetting to places for games, etc. And then you have the fall, and then you get to a point though where you have to ask yourself a question: which way you're going to go with it. You could probably fall out of football, or you could pick yourself up, dust yourself down, and then start going the other way and start leading people the way you want to. But it's got to start with yourself first, and I did that. And then from there, I just started to work on myself, and hopefully the fans and the club saw the payback they gave me with time, and I'm hopefully repaying that with obviously performances and now 100 career appearances.
I think one of the big moments that I'll always remember in your Notts career is your performance in the Grimsby playoff game last season. Obviously, it wasn't the result that we wanted in the end, but I don't think I've ever seen, I've been watching football for a long time, I don't think I've ever seen a player work as hard, cover as much distance, at such an intensity, deep into the 120th minute as you did in that game. And I think that really, fans really saw what you were all about in that match. What are your recollections of that?
Yeah, and that was it was sort of the coming back of, as I said, from where mentally I was from that start of that season to the end. It was sort of the nicety of, okay, this is the true version of my game, and it was nice that I was able to not leave here without showing them that if I was to. So I always said, like, I try and leave everything out on the pitch every single game now. And that was a period where I started to do that, and I felt like I could have just kept. It was one of those games when you know how much is at stake. Nothing changed preparation-wise, but it felt like I could have just kept running for that whole night, just because I knew how much it meant to the lads, and I was running for just as much for them as I was for myself. So it just felt like I could have just kept running, and as you say, it's probably come across like that, which was nice.
Coming into the summer, as you mentioned there, you weren't sure where your future would lie. You were offered a contract under a new head coach, and the rest has been history, really, hasn't it?
Yeah, it is, and like I've said in different interviews, at that point it was starting to hit home at me about how I wanted to approach my rest of my career. As I said, in the day after that, I was literally in the gym, working, strengthening, because I didn't want it to just be half a season, and then you just see another fall or another, oh well, it was only for a certain amount of games, and then you just saw me fall away, and then I would have lots of excuses, etc. No, I wanted to carry on pushing from the moment. I didn't even see it as a disappointment because we gave everything that game, it just didn't go our way, and then from there I just wanted to make sure that my whole time at this club was going to be full effort, full commitment, lift everyone up around me, with me. But that took me going away and being the strongest version of myself I could be, so I could lead others in the team.
This season, of course, has been all about everything that you are. Fantastic defender, brilliant work rate, but with a nice little sprinkling of goals, and not just the odd goal, but a significant number of goals. Just how much have you enjoyed the feeling of hitting the back of the net on a regular basis?
It's great. It's great because when you have a process that you've redefined and worked on, from the first season, but probably my whole career. And then you get to a period like this where you're fine tuning every single game. You're fine tuning in the off season. You're writing, whether you're writing stuff you need to improve on, whether you are analysing games to do in recovery, etc. When it starts to come together, it's not a shock, but it's a great feeling because you know how much effort and work rate you're putting in. But I can't just say it's just me, because I've got to thank the physios who keep me on the pitch, the lads that keep me motivated, the younger lads that I see the hunger with, the delivery of people's balls into the box. It's never just one person or one thing that get me to kick it in the back of the net at the end of it. I'm sure Maka will say the same. It's so many other factors to it, the staff as well. So I'm happy that I'm getting the rewards individually from how much work I'm putting in. But I've also got to thank everyone around the club who pushed so hard to keep me on the pitch, positioning, and for the teammates to be able to deliver it on a position where I can score it.
Yeah, you mentioned the staff among other areas of the club that have helped you achieve what you've achieved this season. I just wonder what your first conversations were with Luke Williams, and when you realised that your expectation was going to be to contribute in that final third. I'm guessing it's one of the first, if not the only time in your career where you've been told that is going to be something expected of you. Yeah,
I mean, I think he probably had more belief with how much probably chances I was going to get, because obviously it's his model, his process of he would have refined over his coaching career. But then as soon as my eyes were opened up within the first couple of games in pre-season of the positions that I was going to be in and the chances that I was going to get, I tried to just mentally prepare that I needed to make those slots relentlessly, put myself in those positions as much as I can, and the goals would come, and not focus too much on how much I scored in over my career, but just that chances will be there, and if I play the percentages right, then majority of the times I'm going to be in a position where I can score.
You've scored some really, really good goals this season, technically very good finishes. Do you have a favourite or a couple of favourites that you can talk us through?
It would probably be Chesterfield, because it was at a point where I was on 9, or maybe 8 or 9, but it was a difficult period because I was finding myself missing out on the slots once or twice, and maybe I could have just used the excuse of it's getting late on in the season, or the season's getting away. You can't make those slots. But it was a period where I sort of sat back, just reevaluated positioning to moments why I missed that position beforehand, and what went well at the start of the season. And for me to be able to do that probably in my career, where I haven't done that in the past, and then go back into the next game, and then where I've assessed and then put into action the next game and go and score the goal, and obviously being in front of our fans, the winner on that, it's a special moment all combined. There was a lot of good goals in there as well, but that's the one that means a lot just because of the process of it, and then obviously what game it was.
I love watching the replay of that goal, but probably even more so the celebration. Obviously BT were there, so we had some fantastic angles, and you can see so much passion on your face, but you can also see some of the fans, you can see the lads getting around you, and obviously it was a huge result for the club. It must just be such a special memory for you, the whole goal.
Yeah, it was, and I visualise that morning. I do that as well. I visualise positioning to talk into how I'm gonna approach the box, to how and for me it was like I saw the build up already before it happened. I saw that Ruben got it in the hole, and I already made the run, and I knew that because we do these patterns over and over again, I already saw that as soon as that moment Ruben turned on it, and then I think it was Ruben who played Azza, but then as soon as that was made, I already made the run, I already made it run in the morning in my head. So for me at that moment, when you do so much to prepare for games, and then it happens, it's just such a great feeling. As you say, the lads can feel the energy that one person can bring, but then also as a team how much energy when we all work so hard in our positioning, and then everyone does everything right. Everyone can celebrate the goal. If you saw it, everyone was celebrating it because it's everyone working their positions to a fine art.
On the subject of goals, it brings me nicely on to the final topic I want to discuss with you, because I'm thinking about a particular celebration, not the one at Chesterfield. It was one here at Meadow Lane where you appeared to dive into an ice bath. Now, anybody who follows social media and is anywhere across the digital landscape, the Notts County landscape, will have seen your videos of you in icy conditions. Can you just explain for those who don't have the full context what it is that you've been sort of championing across your social media channels?
Yeah, no, it's so I've been doing that since I was about 16 or 14. I've been getting in it's actually my mum's pool, which is always, once winter comes, it's always been freezing cold, but I always find it was a little bit of an edge that I always felt like I had against other people. I was willing to do, I felt like I was willing to do whatever it took to make a dream of playing professional football a reality. And that's not saying that an ice bath just makes that happen, but it's a difficulty where cold water doesn't make you, no one wants to get in freezing ice cold water. And it's something I remind myself every day with the hard challenges of my dad passing, my nan passing, etc. There's always difficulties that come across you in life, and I try and make sure that I put myself in a position where I can handle those, be mentally prepared for those. They're still going to be extremely tough, but I try and put myself in a frame of mind where if I'm constantly testing myself, making myself feel slightly uncomfortable, it allows me to never get in my comfort zone. So I can constantly push, constantly be strong enough for my family, my kids, and yeah, firstly take care of my mental state, which I think is so important, and that's why I try and showcase it, to try and make sure that people are looking after themselves mentally, so they can be there for their families, and it's sort of the main reason.
Big last couple of months ahead, Chicks, in terms of obviously trying to win promotion back to the EFL. What are your thoughts coming into the running?
My thoughts are, I'm quite calm, to be honest. I think if I've said it in the past, you're going to get out of this season over the course of it, what you deserve. This is an amazing team with great teammates, great staff, great feeling around the place. And if it's meant to happen, it's going to happen. Do I think we have a great chance? Of course. If you just look at the style we play, we're doing it in the right way. Something that's so important to me, playing it in a beautiful style as well. So as long as we stick to the process of what we all can do, and we work for each other and we work as a team, we're going to get out of it what we deserve.